Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Hey, everybody, this is Captain Tech Review, finally bringing back to you my LG Watch Sport battery life review. Sorry for a delay. It took me, I had some trouble getting LTE enabled on my device. Finally got it enabled so I can at least test the functionality as it relates to battery life for LTE. And first, I want to say thank you for those who have subscribed so far and liked my previous video on my quick review. I really appreciate it, and I'm finally bringing this to you now. And what I really did for this watch review for battery life is I took a scientific approach. I have a science background, so I really wanted to collect the data scientifically. I couldn't do it 100% accurately scientifically with data points exactly the same time with my work schedule and all. But what I was able to do was every day, 12 hours after taking this off the charger, I recorded how much battery percentage was left. And one thing I have to note, I unfortunately didn't take screenshots of the battery life overview on the app to show how much estimated time was left during that point. With that said, so what I did was I wanted to test each day different functions of the watch and how they affected battery life. So day one was my baseline. Watch face off, Wi-Fi, NFC and GPS off, just Bluetooth on. And recorded the battery life 12 hours later. And that day one was 66%. Pretty good. But, of course, you're not using any of the radios. With that said, I was just checking notifications and stuff like that. And I pretty much did that first 3 days. I wasn't able to do any activity tracking. As you read in my description below. And on day two, I then wanted to see what effect always on display had on the battery. So 12-hour mark, 12 hours after I took off the charger, on day two, just always on display, and the radio's off, with 34% battery left. So as you can tell, the always on display had a significant hit on the battery life on this device. So personally, I leave it off anyway. I like to preserve battery life as much as I can. I mean, no one leaves their phone screen on the entire time. Might make more sense for a watch, but I prefer to have it off, to conserve as much as I can. If I'm not going to use it, why have it on? Day three, watch face off, radio's on. I was not able to connect Wi-Fi to my office at work. It's sort of a pain with the security measures they have to connect your own devices to the Wi-Fi, so sorry I couldn't connect it. But it doesn't have a huge impact on battery life. But with the radios on, Wi-Fi, GPS, and NFC, I was not able to actually use GPS for very long, a couple of times. But with that said, 12-hour mark, day three, 54% battery life left after 12 hours with just the radios on. Not too bad. Day four, this was sort of an anomaly for battery use. I have noted that in my description below. It's not really a fair comparison, but with that said, the 12-hour mark for day four, with everything that happened, with trying to activate LTE and the third-party app I tried to collect heart rate data with every half an hour, caused a problem. But I was able to get 24% battery life left at the 12-hour mark, and I did have LTE on after that, and I barely made it home. So that was sort of an unfair measurement, if you will, but it's an indication of what kind of battery life you can expect with heavy use. For me, that would be heavy use day. Day five is LTE. LTE, as long as you have a signal, battery life is okay. If you have zero signal, your battery life is trash. It's bad. The radio struggles to try and get LTE signal. It kills the battery. It's be similar to your phone if you have no cell signal. With that said, I think it's realistic to use LTE if you need it from the device. I think it's unrealistic to try and expect for this to be your primary device for an entire day and expect to have 2 days worth of. It's not happening. I realistically do another little test yesterday with just LTE on only. I didn't record that data, but you can expect 10 to 12 hours out of battery usage for that day if you have LTE radio on. As long as you have some signal. if you're in a area with really strong LTE signal, you probably make it 12 hours without a problem, an entire day without your phone. With zero signal, you're not going to make it. You'd have to use it sparingly, and if you forget your phone at home or something like that, if you know you're going to be back home a couple hours, not a problem. If you try to use it all day, not going to happen. With that said, the battery life on this device has been, in my opinion, okay to good, depending on how you're going to use it. With activity tracking, like on day 5, I streamed music via LTE, Google Play, and the GPS-enabled Google Fit tracking, I took a 10% hit in that 11 minutes. So, with that said, depending on how you're going to intend to use this watch, will obviously have an effect on battery life. But for me, getting a day out of this watch has not been a problem. 2 days with mixed use, especially with radios on and off, blah, 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 is not realistic. This is going to behave more like a smartphone, battery life-wise. For me, I haven't had a problem with it being an issue. It's okay for me. It may not obviously rack up to the likes of an Apple Watch 2 or maybe the S3, and I have a video coming, a little preview of the S3 versus the LTE Watch Sport coming up soon. Battery life measures that too, a comparison of that too. But overall, I think the battery life is okay to good for this device. So thank you again for subscribing and liking my videos. Hopefully this is a good guideline to what to expect for battery life for how you use it. I tried the best I could with the time I had to use the watch with different scenarios as some other users would. So thank you again for subscribing. If you continue to get more updates, especially for my S3 versus LG Watch Sport, please subscribe and like my videos again. And if you have any questions, please comment below. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you again, guys. Captain, over and out.